If you had a choice, which would you rather do? Would you rather spend 5 years and $50,000 to learn how to treat disease, or 5 years and $50,000 to learn how to prevent disease? If your answer is to prevent, then this pamphlet, this book, and these tapes are valued at $50,000 cash. The International Academy of Lymphology is the official voice of preventive medicine. It is the only institute that's been established in the world to teach the lay public the cause of pain, loss of energy, and disease at the cell level. All other research that is being done throughout the United States, they are researching for the treatment of the disease. They're researching for the things that they can do to help treat the problem. Well, what we are doing with the Academy is working with 400 of the top medical research scientists in the world. There's only 65 in the United States who are working on the cause of disease and who understand the research which reveals what we must do to prevent and, if possible, reverse disease. These top medical research scientists have organized themselves into a group called the ISL, or the International Society of Lymphology. We are the IAL, or the International Academy of Lymphology. We have organized the Academy because we have been encouraged by some of the top medical doctors in the society to do so, so we can teach this research to the lay public. So in the Academy we have some of the top medical doctors and lymphologists in the world on our advisory board. We're dealing with a discovery was made by Dr. Arthur C. Guyton and published in his text, the Textbook of Medical Physiology, in 1961. This discovery was published in his second edition. It was a discovery that was put in the appendix of the chapter in that edition because it was made after the text was written. And the discovery was this. He said, a discovery has been made in our laboratory that will change many of our concepts of fluid exchange at the capillary membrane. Now, in the body we have veins and arteries and capillaries. Here we have the blood capillaries. It's at the capillary level that the cells become irrigated with oxygen and nutrients. We have the blood capillaries here, here we have the cells, and out here we have the lymphatic system. And this research stated that if the blood proteins cannot be removed from the spaces around the cells by our lymphatic system, that it could cause our death within about 24 hours. Now this is truly one of the greatest discoveries that's ever been made since the beginning of man, as far as our health is concerned. Because in all the previous research, it stated that the blood proteins were too big to come through the capillary pores out of the blood capillaries. With this new research, we now know that the blood proteins do get out of the bloodstream through the blood capillaries. The blood proteins are manufactured in the body. They are a part of our bloodstream. One of the purposes of the blood proteins is to hold the water in the bloodstream so the blood can bring the dissolved minerals and nutrients to the cells. Here is where life and death takes place. And again, to remember the new discovery. A discovery has been made in our laboratory that will change many of our concepts of fluid exchange at the capillary membrane. We're dealing with the life and death processes. For the first time in the history of the world, a brand new discovery has been made. And that this discovery was that the blood proteins do come out of the blood capillaries, contrary to all other previous research, that they do come through the blood out of the capillary membranes to get around the cells, and once they get out here, There's not enough pressure out here to push the blood proteins back through that blood capillary. They come through under pressure because they cause the pressure in the bloodstream. They hold the water. And it is due to this pressure that the blood proteins seep through the blood capillaries. But once they get out here around the cells, there's not enough pressure out here to push the blood proteins back through the blood capillary. The only way they can be removed is by the lymphatics. And the research states again that if the lymphatic system cannot keep the blood proteins circulating, it would cause their death in about 24 hours. Dr. Geint discovered that if there was no trapped blood proteins around the cells, he said if the cells are going to be healthy, they have to be in what he called the dry state. It's a condition where there's no trapped blood proteins and no excess fluid around the cells. Only enough fluid to fill the crevices around these cells, and that is all. In this condition, it is impossible to have a disease of any kind. And the name of the disease means nothing. We cannot have cancer in the dry state, because in the dry state, the white blood cells can destroy the cancer cells. This is nothing new. We have pictures of the white blood cells destroying the cancer cell. But in order for the white blood cells to work, they have to have the close contact of the cell. In the dry state, the white blood cells work even in the absence of antibody. So you cannot have viral infections, bacterial infections, or allergies. In the dry state, you cannot have high blood pressure or heart disease. You can't have arthritis, MS, or polio, cerebral palsy. The life processes have been found to generate electrical fields. And the only thing that can alter the life process at the cell level, or the only thing that can produce the conditions that will alter the life process at the cell level, is trapped blood proteins around the cells. If the blood proteins get trapped around the cells, they will produce pain, loss of energy, disease, or death. The only way out is through the lymphatics. And here we have a picture of the lymphatic system. Truly the most important health message on earth. Let me ask you a question. If you were to buy groceries and bring them to the house all year long and never take out the garbage, what would happen? Well, the lymphatic system is what pulls the poisons and toxins out of the body. This is the thing that keeps the blood proteins circulating, so the life processes in the cells are functioning properly. If the lymphatic system doesn't work, then the poisons stay locked up in the body. The blood proteins also stay locked up around the cells, which produces the conditions that cause disease and death. We have more lymphatics in the body than we have blood vessels. They're all over. You might say the branches go up in the head and the roots come down in the feet, and the big tree trunk of the lymphatic system is there in the chest. It's called the thoracic duct. The lymphatic system pulls the blood proteins out of the spaces around the cells and brings them up here on one-way check valves. It brings them up this big thoracic duct here in the chest, and it dumps it back into the subclavian vein there at the base of the neck. If the lymphatic system cannot function, then the poisons stay locked up around the cells. And the cells, then the life processes become altered. This is the condition that will cause arthritis if it happens in the joints. As the life processes are upset, then the calcium falls out of solution. If this condition happens in muscles, it can pull muscles tight. It can block the circulation up in the head and down the neck, can cause migraine, headache, and sore neck problems. If it happens in the muscles that go into the ilium, go into the hips and the lower back, it can pull the muscles tight and cause lower back and sciatic nerve problems. If it interferes with the electrical impulses going to brain to muscles, you've got MS and polio and cerebral palsy. But we have now produced a book, The Golden 7+1. The Golden 7 stands for 7 major discoveries dealing with life and death at the cell level. The +1 deals with the discovery made by Dr. Arthur C. Guyton, which describes the condition the body must be in to be healthy. We also have produced a set of videotapes. Here we have 4 2-hour videotapes, and in these videotapes we discuss the research in detail, and we explain in detail what we must do to bring our body from a disease state back into a healthy state. Whether it be the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the pancreas, the lungs, the heart, the colon, or whether it be pain in the joints, or wherever it may be. If we can bring the body from this condition back over to this condition, if the body can reverse the disease will be reversed. The name of the disease means nothing anymore. The life processes have been found to generate electrical fields. The only substance that can alter the life process at the cell level is blood proteins. It is the blood proteins that get trapped around the cells, and they reduce the life process, and then they stick together. They cluster and they stick like glue. And they can sit there for a lifetime. And these disease conditions, or these weakened conditions in our body, is then passed on down to our children and our posterity. This is why it is so critical that you obtain this research. You know, if you go to school, you first get the text and then you go to school. If you could get everything out of books, there'd be no need of teachers in schools. You first get the text when you go to medical school or chiropractic school or whatever school you may attend. You buy the text first. Well, this is the text of preventive medicine. The videotapes is your school. I repeat the question that we asked at the beginning. Which would you rather do if you had a choice? Would you rather spend 5 years and $50,000 to learn how to treat the disease, or 5 years and $50,000 to learn how to prevent the disease? If we cannot teach in these materials how to teach you the cause of high blood pressure, heart disease, viral infections, bacterial infections, allergies, pain, cancer, arthritis, MS, polio, cerebral palsy, and how to prevent these conditions, what have you got to lose? Let me ask it another way. What do you have to lose if you don't learn about this research? It is now known that 1 out of 4 in the United States have a serious degenerative disease. By 1992, we are told that 1 out of 2 will have a serious degenerative disease. By the year 2000, we are told that 98% of our population will have a serious degenerative disease. With this research, you will understand that when the blood proteins get clustered around our cells, they reduce the life process and they stick together like glue. And these weakened conditions are passed on down to our children. We cannot encourage you too strongly. We can't put the words too strongly. The International Academy of Lymphology is truly the official voice of preventive medicine. It is a Noah's Ark. The flood of disease is coming upon us as the flood came in the time of Noah. Obtain the materials, read them, study them,